Well, let me start by saying thanks to Dan and to my colleagues, Minister Rickford and Secretary Joaquin Coldwell. Also, I do want to make a note here that with our host, Dan Yergin, last year, our first Energy Secretary, Jim Schlesinger, who was, of course, a major figure in both energy and security, passed away, and we started a new award at the Department of Energy for energy security, named in honor of James Schlesinger. And I want to say Dan Yergin, in case you don't know, was our inaugural awardee. We all know about his enormous contributions to informing all of us about certainly the history of oil and energy security. So let me make a few remarks about North American energy. These are all in the context, I think we should really keep in mind the incredible integration of our economies, our trade relationship. We have $1 trillion trade relationship among our three countries, and about $200 billion of that is energy. So what we're talking about here is about building on something that's already extremely strong, staying aligned as we face both opportunity, the energy powerhouse reference, and also our challenges, such as meeting the low carbon future. I'll say a few remarks about something that we released, the administration released yesterday. It was the first installment of what we term the Quadrennial Energy Review. I won't go through in detail the process, et cetera, just to say that, as the name suggests, the idea is over a 4-year cycle to look at a data-driven, analytically based approach to an integrated energy policy, one that we hope can stimulate bipartisan discussion within Congress, with the administration, et cetera. However, our choice was really to make major installments along the way. And the first installment that we published yesterday, and I do recommend it to you, it's on our website, and the White House website, was focused on energy infrastructure, transmission, storage, and distribution of energy. Clearly, we hear a lot, deservedly so, about new sources of energy, about demand side activities, but really the infrastructure that links those is really critical, and we felt should be a first focus. Let's think about it. We have the energy powerhouse. We have tremendous new production throughout North America of oil and gas, for example. This has been a tremendous boon to the economy, a tremendous opportunity, but also a stress to our infrastructure. We'll come back and discuss a bit more about that. Furthermore, a lot of our infrastructure in the energy system, like other infrastructures in this country, built out in the 50s and 60s to a large extent. We have some aging issues, but we also have opportunity. As we look to new clean energy sources, for example, we look to much smarter and more extensive modernized grids, for example. As we look at how we move commodities in this country, some energy and some others, our shared infrastructures, rail, inland waterways, docks, et cetera. We all know we have tremendous challenge. So the idea here was to put a roadmap together, looking across the energy infrastructure space, that hopefully we could use as a roadmap for federal government, states, private sector, to help guide investments as we try to modernize the infrastructure and get it ready for the opportunities and challenges of the next decades. Let me just say a few of the areas that we focus on. One is resilience. As we build our infrastructure smartly going forward, they have to be resilient against extreme weather, resilient against cyber risks, you name it. Electric grid modernization, clearly a great opportunity, and one here which certainly fits into our cross-border integration. In fact, Minister Joaquin Coldwell, Secretary Joaquin Coldwell, described that the energy reforms in Mexico are not just hydrocarbons, they're also electricity. And perhaps we can reach a stage of the same kind of integration that we have with Canada and the United States with Mexico in terms of electricity. We talk about security issues. For example, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. We had a test of the Petroleum Reserve reserve last year. And we found that, in fact, the stresses on the system from our new pattern of oil production led to challenges. So we identify about $2 billion of needed upgrades to modernize the SPRO and to increase its distribution capacity, especially getting oil onto water. And finally, as I said, the shared infrastructures like rail, et cetera, we have a recommendation, for example, in terms of really upgrading connectors between energy ports and the inland transportation systems, which we need for economic and environmental reasons. So that gives you an idea of the scope. Let me, however, say as well, we have specifically a chapter on the issue of North American energy integration. We are very committed to that. It is very important. It will help all of our economies. It helps our security, and we can do it in a way that will meet our shared challenges, particularly in meeting the challenges of climate mitigation and adaptation. Recently, we congratulate Mexico on coming out at the end of March with a strong commitment in terms of greenhouse gas reduction. The U.S. did so at the end of the last year, and Canada, we expect, will very soon be moving forward so that once again we will have the kind of alignment that we need to move our energy structures forward. In concluding my remarks, let me just take two other issues a little step aside. One, the Caribbean. Again, our neighbors in the Caribbean, the President and the Vice President have devoted a lot of time in the last months to looking at the Caribbean energy security situation. Caribbean islands are in fact subject to tremendous risks. They have tremendous adaptation needs, sea level rise, et cetera, extreme weather, but also an opportunity now to diversify their energy sources to lower their electricity costs. Perhaps, for example, as the Inter-American Development Bank has mapped out, perhaps a natural gas strategy, for example, drawing upon our North American resources to help them with both cost and security. And then I just want to put in a plug for what Greg Rickford already mentioned. Energy security is really a collective concern. It's not just Canada, US, and Mexico. It's also energy security of our allies and friends. And so the issues of energy security in Europe, for example, are something of real concern to us. And in that context, Greg Rickford and I were able to have our agencies collaborate in helping Ukraine develop energy security plans, contingency plans to get through the winter. And as we discussed earlier today, we will be renewing that partnership going forward. So finally, Greg mentioned my visit to Ottawa. I want to say that, frankly, it was too long since an energy secretary had been to Canada. Soon we will both be in Mexico, visiting our distinguished friend, Secretary Joaquin Colwell, for two important energy meetings. We are committed to sustaining another thing which had not happened for too long, our trilateral energy ministerial meetings. We are all three committed to that, and we intend again to stay aligned, to build upon a very strong foundation, and really work together in this age of a North American energy powerhouse. Thank you.